you something you've never heard that will blow your mind. Ah, once upon a time I told you stories from Africa. Fun enough to make you laugh. Bright enough to light your day. Super lessons you learn from it, and it makes you go, I am Grandma Wura. I am Grandma Wura.
Hello, Sene.
Kamabua,
How are you?
I'm fine.
Oh my God, you look gorgeous.
Thank you.
What part of Nigeria is your attire from?
Edo.
Edo State. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be telling you a story from Edo State today. Are you excited about that?
Yes.
Are you excited about that?
Yes.
Awesome. Hello, children. Welcome to Grandma Wura's Story Heart, where my stories give you wings and fly you on an African adventure. Today's story is titled Unbroken. Yes, Unbroken. Today, I am going to be telling you a story about an Edo woman called Omuwa. You see, Omuwa is still alive. She is a great woman. But for her, things went worse before they became better. When Omuwa was just a little girl, her father was very fascinated with her because she was so fearless, she was so dramatic, she was just excited. She was full of confidence and she believed in herself. And guess what? Her father would always call her Omuwa the Great. The very day her father called her Omuwa the Great, it stuck up here. And she began to see herself as great indeed. However, things became really tough for her father, and he was unable to send her to school to get formal education. And so, Omuwa was allowed to go and stay with a distant relative right in the city who had promised that she was going to give Omuwa a formal education. And so, off Omuwa went to, the city. But when she got to her auntie's house, she was never allowed to get educated. Instead, she was allowed to do chores all day long. Sometimes she was hardly given food to eat. Oh, she lived under very, very tough circumstances while she was living with her auntie. But you know what she kept telling herself? She kept calling herself what her father called her, and that is Omuwa the Great. That stayed here long enough for her. And whatever situation she found herself, she kept calling herself Omuwa the Great. She would tell herself, no, I'm Omuwa the Great. Even though she wasn't educated, she kept calling herself Omuwa the Great. I am Grandma Wura. And one other fascinating thing about Omuwa was that she was always willing to serve. She served and she always observed, which meant she learned a lot from anybody she was observing while she was serving. After a few years, Omuwa went on to serving someone else. She served a white lady. And while she was with the white lady, she learned how to sew. She was very good with fashion. She picked up another craft. After serving the white lady, she went on to becoming a jail warder. Do you know who a jail warder is?
No.
A jail warder is the one who works in the prison and takes care of those people in jail. While she was there, she learned to be tough. She served and she observed. She served and she observed once again. She added that. Along the way, it looked like it kept getting worse for Moa, isn't it? But for her, she kept telling herself that she was still Omuwa the Great. No matter the circumstance she found herself, she just continued to serve and observe. She served and observed. Then she came back to Edo State, where she met the man whom she married. And as a result of that, they traveled to Lagos. While she was in Lagos, she began to sell fabric. She would sell Ankara, you know the kind of Ankara I'm wearing now. Yes. She would put this on her head and she would go around trying to sell to people. And while she was doing that, do you know what she was doing? She was saving money. And not long after that, she began to serve a woman in the market. Even when people called her illiterate, she never allowed that to bother her.
What's an illiterate?
An illiterate is someone who doesn't have a formal education. Remember, she never had one. And she was unable to get one. But that didn't matter to her. She kept calling herself Omuwa the Great. Now she was serving in the marketplace. She was serving the Yaloja of the market where she was selling. The Yaloja, I know you want to ask, who is a Yaloja? Yaloja is the woman in charge of all market men and women in the marketplace. And so she served this great Yaloja. And while she was serving, what was she doing?
She was observing.
She was observing. And she was learning everything that the Yaloja was doing. She was learning how the Yaloja was prospering. And she said to herself, I would like to be like this Yaloja. I would like to also lead men and women in the marketplace. And she kept saving. Not long after that, she bought her own shop. And then she bought several more shops. Now, she was now an Iyaloja in another market. She became an Iyaloja in another market called Ikmori. She became great. She began to make a lot of money. Remember, she called herself Omuwa the Great.
Yes.
And she did not allow whatever situation she went through to break her. She was now a great woman. Not only did she lead women and men in the marketplace in Lagos, she went on to Benin City, where she became the woman leader as well in Benin City. She led great men and women until today. She sits at the table with great men and women of Nigeria. She is now a great woman as well. As a great woman, do you know what Omuwa has been doing? She has been sending other people's children to school to get formal education. You know that formal education she never got?
Yes.
She ensured that every child is getting a formal education in her time. And she is still doing the same. The end. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the story.
I did.
I hope you enjoyed the story. And I hope you learned a thing or two from today's story. But not to worry, there will be one more story for another day. Until we come your way again on the Grandma Wura's Story Hut. This is Grandma Wura and Sene saying bye-bye. So, Sene, what did you learn from today's story?
I learned that I should be unbreakable like Omuwa.
Can you say that again? Let me hear.
I learned that I should be unbreakable like Omua.
Oh, be unbreakable. No matter what people say to you, no matter how they try to distract you, you just keep telling yourself, I am Senedi Great. Today, on Grandma Wura's Story Hut, we learned that we must remain confident in any situation we find ourselves and never give up. We also learned that we must always say to ourselves only good things that we desire to see in our lives. Like Omua, we must remain strong in the face of bad things happening to us and look forward to brighter days. Discuss more of the other lessons you learned today with your parents or guardians. You can reach me at Grandma Wura on Facebook and Instagram with the supervision of an adult. Also visit www.proudafricanroots.com to get your own copy of the Grandma Wura Story Hut ebook.
Tell you something you've never heard that will blow your mind. Once upon a time, I told you stories from Africa. Fun enough to make you laugh. Bright enough to light your day. Super lessons you learn from it, and it makes you